Here are today's top stories. Typhoon Ompong leaves at least 54 people dead and some 42 missing after battering the Cordillera region. The United States and Australia commit to send relief aid to areas affected by Typhoon Ompong. China and the ASEAN bloc also pledge their support. 8 persons are injured in an explosion along a national highway in General Santos City. And the Philippines showcases Tarlac City as a city of charm before foreign investors at the China-ASEAN Trade Expo. Good day, I'm William Theo.
And I'm Pia Roses Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom.
Typhoon Ompong lashed various parts of the country over the weekend, leaving a trail of devastation mostly in provinces in northern Luzon.
The Cordillera region was among the areas which bore the brunt of the typhoon as landslides and floods claimed lives and caused widespread damage to infrastructure. Here's our report.
Typhoon Ompong left at least 54 dead, 42 missing, and some 32 injured as it lashed provinces in the Cordillera Administrative Region, according to the Cordillera Regional Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. Cordillera Interior and Local Government Regional Director Marlo Iringan said Itogon Benguet had the highest number of casualties with 34 dead and 36 missing. Majority of the dead and missing in Itogon town were in Barangay Ukab and Luwakan, where massive landslides occurred. Itogon Mayor Victor Palangas said some residents refused to leave their homes despite orders for preemptive evacuation. Office of the Civil Defense Cordillera Regional Director Ruben Carandang said all DRRMCs in the region remain on red alert. Local government agencies assured that aside from responding to the needs of those affected, search, rescue, and retrieval operations continue. The Department of Social Welfare and Development and the local government also extended food and non-food items for evacuees as well as burial and financial assistance to the families of those who died. Meanwhile, Department of Public Works and Highways Cordillera said Nagilian Road leading to Baguio City is open to all types of vehicles, while Marcos Highway was also opened at 9 p.m. Sunday. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council says Typhoon Ompong has so far affected over 270,000 persons in the Ilocos region, Cagayan Valley, Central Luzon, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, Cordillera regions, and Metro Manila. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
President Rodrigo Duterte visited victims of Typhoon Ompong in northern Luzon on Sunday. Duterte visited Cagayan province where Ompong made landfall early Saturday. The president attended situation briefings in Tuguegarao and extended his condolences to the relatives of the victims. The president also went to Lawag City, Ilocos Norte and inspected the extent of damages left by the typhoon. The province suffered about 1.5 billion pesos worth of damages to rice and 123 million in vegetables. The president also visited Itogon, Benguet, as well as Baguio City and other areas in the Cordillera region. Duterte assigned political advisor Francis Tolentino to be the government's point man in monitoring the effects of Ompong. Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade monitored the situation from Tuguegarao. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III meanwhile went to Isabela.
The Philippine Red Cross is sending more rescue and relief teams to help communities in areas hit by Typhoon Ompong. Philippine Red Cross Chairman Richard Gordon says the Red Cross is providing non-food items such as mats, clothes, and personal hygiene kits. To date, the PRC has provided hot meals to 700 individuals, biscuits to some 1,300 individuals. Gordon ordered the deployment of PRC's 2 mobile kitchens, a 6x6 truck, and a plastic boat to northern Luzon.
The Baguio City government is not considering to declare Baguio under a state of calamity despite being hit by Typhoon Ompong. In a press briefing Sunday night, Mayor Mauricio Domogan said on Sunday that they will not declare a state of calamity in Baguio because the city is not qualified. For a local government to be declared under a state of calamity, Dumogan said that at least 20% of its population is affected, 40% of the livelihood of the residents are affected, the destruction of food crop is at least 40%, major roads are impassable, and there is disruption in the supply of electricity. The mayor said that aside from the Gillian Road, which connects Baguio to Bawang, La Union, being open to all types of vehicles, the Marcos Highway was also open to all types of vehicles Sunday evening, while Cannon Road remains closed since June. The Benguet Electric Cooperative, or Beneco, has also reinstated power in over 60% of the city. The power in Barangay Irisan is the city's biggest barangay, was restored as of 2 a.m. Monday. As of 6:30 p.m. Sunday, authorities said Baguio has recorded 9 confirmed deaths and 5 persons missing. The National Championship of Batang Pinoy Games, hosted by both Baguio and La Trinidad Benguet, will also start on Monday, with a number of the delegates from the different provinces in the country already in the city since Wednesday.
The United States and the Australian government have announced the delivery of humanitarian assistance to the Philippines after Typhoon Ompong battered northern Luzon on Saturday. Here's a report.
Australian Foreign Minister Marie Spain says Canberra will provide humanitarian supplies through the Philippine Red Cross for up to 25,000 individuals in the most affected areas. The United States Agency for International Development will provide 1,000 metric tons of rice to northern Luzon through the United Nations World Food Program. Meanwhile, Save the Children Philippines is also sending humanitarian teams to assess the situation and deliver emergency kits to typhoon-ravaged towns in northern Luzon. In a related development, the European Union, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, as well as China on Sunday expressed readiness to assist the Philippines in its recovery and relief operations in the aftermath of Typhoon Ompong. The ASEAN Bloc and China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs also expressed readiness to help within its capacity as soon as possible. Ompong was the strongest typhoon to hit the Philippines this year, leaving at least 54 people dead, mostly in the Cordillera region due to landslides, while authorities are still conducting search for some 42 missing individuals. Aside from the casualties, the typhoon also left severe damages to agriculture, infrastructure, and property in several northern Luzon provinces. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
The Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, is ready to provide emergency employment to workers affected by Typhoon Ompong. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III says assessments are ongoing in areas affected by the typhoon that hit northern Luzon, particularly the provinces of Cagayan and Isabela. He urged the families of overseas Filipino workers affected by the typhoon to proceed to the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration in their respective regions and apply for financial assistance. For their part, OWA Administration Hans Kakdak says they are coordinating with the NDRRMC to compile a complete list of worst-hit areas. OWA has allocated 100 million pesos through its welfare assistance program. Meanwhile, the Department of Foreign Affairs distributed 5,000 pesos worth of assistance to OFWs affected by flight cancellations caused by Ompong. Still to come, 8 persons are injured in an explosion along a national highway in General Santos City. The DTI ensures ample supply of basic and prime commodities in areas hit by Typhoon Ompong. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ito ang Duterte on Duty. Ulat sa ginagawa ng Presidente.
September 5, Miyerkules, State of Israel. Sa pagtatapos ng 4-day state visit ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, ay nag-alay siya ng bulaklak sa Holocaust Memorial Park, Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. Dumating ang Pangulo kasama ang kanyang delegasyon sa Queen Alia International Airport sa Amman. September 6, Huwebes, Jordan. Tinanggap ni King Abdullah II bin Al-Hussein ang Pangulo at ang Philippine delegation. Sinaksihan ni Pangulong Duterte ang pagpirma silang kasunduan sa Business Forum sa Intercontinental Hotel. Ipinakita ni King Abdullah II ang kanilang Military Special Operations Training Center kay Pangulong Duterte. Muling nagpulong ang dalawang bansa sa pananghalian. September 7, Biyernes. Sabik na tinanggap ng overseas Filipino workers sa Jordan si Pangulong Duterte nang dalawin niya ang mga ito sa Royal Cultural Palace sa Amman.
Bakit ako pumunta dito? Well, of course, first is to make a historic visit to the Kingdom of Jordan. Si King Abdullah is a very good guy. Ano siya, sincere. Kaya matagal kami nag-usap about you. Pag-usapan lang namin yung yung undocumented ito.
September 8, Sabado, Davao City. Ibinalita ng Pangulo ang magandang naidulot sa Pilipinas ng pagbisita niya sa Israel at Jordan.
In Israel, the signing of the agreements of the employment of Filipino caregivers will help address the issue of exorbitant placement fees that cost the OFWs anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000. In Jordan, the labor agreements will enhance the standards of protection for Filipinos employed as household service workers and regular labor deployment exchanges and communications and further studies on labor. Your government will continue to do its part to ensure that the rights of our nationals working abroad are protected, enhanced, and upheld.
September 11, Martes, Malacanang. Sa panayam ni Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo kay Pangulong Duterte ay sinagot nito ang ilang maiinit na isyong pinag-uusapan habang wala siya sa bansa. Kinagabihan ay pinulong niya ang mga gabinete para sa 29th Cabinet Meeting sa Aguinaldo State Dining Room. September 12, Miyerkules, Malacanang. Pinanumpa ng Chief Executive ang halos 100 presidential appointees. Nakipagpulong din siya kay U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines, Sung Kim. Ginawaran niya ng cash incentives ang mga manlalarong Pinoy na nag-uwi na medalya mula sa 18th Asian Games na ginanap sa Indonesia. Ako po si Secretary Martin Andanar. At ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
Malacanang and other local military and police officials have condemned the explosion that rocked a national highway in General Santos City, injuring at least 8 people. Here's a report.
General Santos City was placed on alert level 4 following a bomb explosion before noon Sunday. The improvised explosive device exploded beside the pharmacy and the clinic along Makar Junction. The blast ripped through the facade of the clinic and nearby establishments, leaving about 8 people wounded. Witnesses said 2 unidentified persons who came on board the motorcycle were seen near the scene minutes before the explosion. Chief Superintendent Eliseo Rasco, Police Regional Director, ordered all personnel to track down the suspects and resolve the case immediately. Meanwhile, Malacanang strongly condemned the explosion in Gensan. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said this comes at an unfortunate time when the nation is reeling from the effects of Ompong. The Philippine Army's 10th Infantry Division assured the public that authorities are investigating the incident to identify the perpetrators. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Abs Abando.
The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, on Monday reported that at least 2 Filipinos were hurt and 41 were rescued as Typhoon Mangkhut lashed Hong Kong over the weekend. Consul General Antonio Morales said a Filipino tourist underwent leg surgery after she was hit by flying debris, while another Filipino was also hurt by falling debris but needed no hospital treatment. In his report to the GFA, Morales said the Consulate General assisted some 30 members of a Filipino tour group who were stranded after the windshield of the bus that they were supposed to bring them to the airport was shattered by strong winds. 5 Filipino workers of a dive resort development were also rescued by Hong Kong authorities. Morales also said the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration received calls from Filipino household service workers who sustained minor injuries but needed no hospital treatment. The envoy also said his officers and staff are all safe and that their consular operations have resumed on Monday. The DFA, together with the Consulate General, continues to monitor the situation in Hong Kong in the aftermath of the typhoon. According to DFA's estimate, there are around 227,000 Filipinos currently in Hong Kong.
The Department of Trade and Industry has ensured the continuous flow of basic necessities and prime commodities, particularly in areas hit by Typhoon Ompong. Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez says the agency has set up a command center that is linked with regional directors and with local distributors. He says stocks are ready from Manila and possible transfers from other distributors in nearby regions of Regions 3 and 4 to support Regions 1 and 2. He mentioned that food manufacturers assured to DTI that supplies in the market are good for at least 2 weeks up to 2 months. Regional and provincial directors and staff also gave reports of ample supply and prices are within suggested retail prices. Lopez added that DTI's consumer hotline 1DTI or 1384 is up 24 hours a day to receive complaints and concerns on supply and prices of goods.
Typhoon Ompong has damaged about 29.98 million pesos worth of agriculture in Aurora Province. Data from the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council showed that the agricultural losses cover damages to crops and livestock. Amado Elson Egargue, chief of the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, says the worst hit by Ompong were the agricultural areas of Dinalungan, Kasiguran, and Dilasag, which were placed under Tropical Cyclone Warning Signal Number 3. Egargue said Ompong has affected over 7,000 families or over 27,000 individuals in the entire province. He said soldiers of the 91st Infantry Sinagtala Battalion of the Philippine Army, Philippine National Police, local and national officials are set to convene for the updates regarding the damages inflicted by Typhoon Ompong.
PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde flew to Benguet Monday morning to monitor search and retrieval operations in parts of Benguet affected by landslides caused by Typhoon Ompong. Albayalde says a 24-man search and rescue team from the Special Action Force will assist rescuers in Benguet in looking for survivors. The SAF team is carrying 2 radar life detector units which can help locate those buried underground. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque also flew to Benguet with the PNP chief. They will be with President Duterte as he visits areas in the province that were affected by the typhoon. Up next, President Duterte considers outgoing Army Chief Rolando Bautista as the next NFA administrator. The Philippines showcases Tarlac City as a city of charm before foreign investors at the China-ASEAN Trade Expo. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
President Rodrigo Duterte is eyeing another military man to head the National Food Authority. This time, it's Army Chief Lieutenant General Rolando Bautista. This after incumbent NFA Administrator Jason Aquino, a retired Army major, requested to be replaced amid issues over the country's rice supply. During the situation briefing on the effects of Typhoon Ompong in Tuguegarao on Sunday, Duterte asked Bautista to take over the NFA after the latter's retirement from the military on October 15. The president's first marching order to the outgoing Army chief is to make the NFA structural to address the country's rice supply. The president said he needs someone who he could trust to handle the NFA. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque confirmed that Bautista's appointment as NFA administrator will take effect on October 15.
The Pangasinan team competing in this year's Batang Pinoy National Finals are declared safe from the onslaught of Typhoon Ompong in Baguio City. The team, consisting of 241 athletes, coaches, and other delegates, are in Baguio City for the Batang Pinoy National Finals since Wednesday. The Pangasinan Sports Development and Management Council says the Pangasinense delegates are staying at Baguio City National High School as their billeting area. They have reportedly started training again in preparation for the upcoming competition. Dagupan City's Balon Dagupan team earlier pulled out from the Batang Pinoy due to the venue's high safety risk after it was struck by Ompong. Batang Pinoy's opening was moved on Monday, September 17 instead of September 15 due to the typhoon.
Another improvised explosive device was set off in North Cotabato on Sunday night, barely 8 hours after the explosion in General Santos City. Police say the explosion occurred inside a videoke bar in Poblacion 4, Midsayap Town. The videoke bar's caretaker told investigators that before the incident, 3 men arrived on board a motorcycle, ordered bread and drinks, then left hurriedly. Nobody was injured in the explosion. The military and police implemented a lockdown of Cotabato City following the Midsayap blast and an earlier explosion in General Santos City.
Tarlac City took center stage as it joined the Philippine delegation at the 15th China-ASEAN Expo.
The city was showcased as a city of charm because of its tourism, investment, and trade opportunities. Janice Cave has the story.
The Philippines showcased the province of Tarlac as the country's city of charm during the 15th China-ASEAN Expo. The country is looking to attract firms from both China and ASEAN to invest in Tarlac. Trade Undersecretary Nora Terrado said Tarlac is a progressive and promising province with a sustainable and globally competitive agriculture sector, industrial developments, and attractive tourist destinations. Tarlac Governor Susan Yap said aside from being the country's home of sugar and rice, Tarlac wants to be known as a major hub for trade, investment, and tourism. Tarlac also produces crops such as organic vegetables, corn, sweet potato, chili, and export quality okras. It also showcases investment opportunities in logistics and distribution, real estate, processing and manufacturing, business process outsourcing, and tourism as industrial development and urbanization. More than 2,700 exhibitors from the ASEAN and China participated in the expo, considered as the second biggest trading event in China. The Philippines presented its biggest and boldest delegation so far with 70 companies from the food, home and fashion, services, and health and wellness sectors. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Here's another look at today's top stories. Typhoon Ompong leaves at least 54 people dead and some 42 missing after battering the Cordillera region. The United States and Australia commit to send relief aid to areas affected by Typhoon Ompong. China and the ASEAN bloc also pledge their support. 8 persons are injured in an explosion along a national highway in General Santos City. And the Philippines showcases Tarlac City as a city of charm before foreign investors at the China-ASEAN Trade Expo.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter.
For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news
and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I'm William Theo.
And I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Good day.